is the value of the roof. So if it's over 10 years old, it's very difficult to get insurance, because what they say with the insurance company is they'll say that the value, we will guarantee the value, and the value to replace it could be $12,000, but they feel that the roof is half its life is gone, so they'll only insure it for $6,000, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever that case is. But the key word that you have to look for is that it's not total replacement cost, and that's what's causing a problem, because we can't sell a loan to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac if you have if you don't have insurance that covers the roof. We can't sell the loan, so therefore you cannot close the loan.
And that's the issue. That's the problem right there.
Did I explain that okay?
Yeah, perfect, because it leads me right into the segue of, so for this buyer, he's like, okay, so I knew right away. I said, look, this roof, it's like 20 or 25 years old, I bet. Now, we haven't called a professional company to come out and qualify it and give us their opinions and all that, which that's one option you can do, because home inspectors will give you an average. A lot of times, Terry, we rely on the seller being truthful to produce documentation of when a roof was done, and here's a receipt, here's who did it, whether it's PJ's here in Frederick or whoever. And all of a sudden, and by the way, they don't give us anything for me mention his name, but it could be any company. And we don't, I think all roofing companies are pretty honest and good and legit anyways, because they want to be around for a lot of years. They're not fly-by-nighters. So, but here's the thing. We get them inspected, we get them certified, and everybody has different guidelines. I'm learning more and more that do they want that? Do they not want that? What's required? So being crazy proactive, even before you put an offer on a house. I knew right away, this roof is 20 years plus. It's going to need to be redone in the next 5 years, depending on the weather conditions. It doesn't leak. There's not a problem. There's one or two missing pieces off of it that can be replaced out easily. But I knew right away. So I told my seller this, I'm the buyer, and I said, hey, you want to call your insurance company, like, no matter what, and get a quote on this. And oh, by the way, they're going to want to know how old is the roof. So tell them it's probably 20 years plus. Sure enough, oh no, we won't even cover it. We won't even give you a policy. So what do you think they did? They called me back. Darren, we think we want this house, but we can't even get insurance coverage for it. What do we do next? So Terry, what in the world are the options that a buyer has whenever? Oh, by the way, this is an estate sale. Let's get details. So it's an estate sale, as is. It's already priced at a really good price. Seller's making no repair cost. It's as is. They're not doing nothing. Even if you can't get an insurance policy in the place because of the condition. So which means they can't get the loan approved. What's the buyer do? What are the options?
So what we want, what the mortgage company wants, what the mortgage servicer wants is, we want a loan that we know that if something goes wrong, we're not going to have to take money out of our pocket to fix a roof. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what we need to do. We need to get full replacement coverage on the roof. How do you do that? If you have a 20-year-old roof, and we had a 20-year-old roof down on the Eastern Shore. It was a waterfront property. It was in Cambridge on the water. And basically what we had to do was we had to put money aside in an escrow, and we had to basically show that we had a quote from a licensed roofer. We put money aside, and we were able to get an insurance company to basically give us full replacement value, get the insurance, but the work had to be done very quickly after settlement. So as soon as settlement happened, we got the roof taken care of. That met the requirements for the insurance company, okay? But you got to be very, very careful. So here are some things that you can do. You can do exactly what we did there.
Whoa, time out. Now, I had a client do that in the last year also. I was able to find them an insurance broker that said, okay, yes, we're going to require you put a new roof on, but we'll cover you. You'll get your loan. You'll go to settlement. But within 90 days, you have to put a new roof on. And if you don't, we're going to drop you.
Correct.
And we want to see you have the money, the means to put a new roof on. So you need to pick out a roofer now before settlement, get a quote, send it to us, and we need to see that you got the money to perform.
Yes. Here's a way that makes it pretty easy. And let's say you have a estate sale. They don't want to put any work into it. They don't have the money to do it. There are contractors out there. And I've worked with roofers, and I've done this on more than one occasion, is had a roofer go out, put a new roof on, okay? And they basically do it right before settlement, and then they get proceeds. We make sure that the proceeds for that job go directly to the roofer from the settlement attorney.
Yep.
That way, nobody's taking money out of their pocket. And if it's an estate sale or any kind of sale, nobody's having to come up front with the money. They're guaranteed the money, but we only do that if we know that the loan is approved. We know that the loan is going to settlement. We know that they're going to be protected, and there are people out there that will do work, and it's just not the roof, but let's say a painter or a carpet company. I've done that on numerous occasions. But creating an escrow is one way. Having the roofer put on before and the roofer get paid at the settlement is another way. But that you just have to be a little creative and kind of figure that out, because it is real and it is happening out there.
Big time. All right, let's get a little creative in a minute. You just sparked my memory. What about a 203K rehab loan?
203K rehab loan. Ooh, I do not know, because I do not do those, but that's a really, really good question. My guess is on a rehab loan, what you're going to do is you're going to get a builder's policy.
Right.
Okay. So let's say you're doing a builder's risk policy, and that's basically going to cover you during construction or rehab of the loan. So when you say, well, what's a builder's risk policy? It's basically a policy that is just like a homeowner's policy. So let's talk about two things that are the same exact things as a homeowner's policy and a hazard insurance policy. Those two things are identical. That is when you get an insurance agent to give you a quote on your home. Let's say you're going to do a big renovation, or you're going to do a new construction, a construction to perm. You're going to get a builder's risk policy. What is a builder's risk policy? It is basically a hazard insurance or a homeowner's policy, a normal homeowner's policy with a builder's risk rider, and that is basically for theft. We have one that's going to settlement this week that we got a $400,000 builder risk rider for theft. That means that if the roof shows up and somebody takes it off the property or something happens, it will get replaced. So that's kind of the difference. But I believe with the 203K renovation, you're going to need to go in there with some sort of builder's risk policy, and that will fix that problem.
All right. So the other options, Terry, is the seller puts a new roof on.
Yes.
That's one of them. Like, put a new roof on. If it's 15, 20 years old, put a new roof on so your house is the most sellable. But I don't want to put out money. Well, you're going to have a major problem. This would now enter into one of the three biggest problems and issues selling your home in 2024 going into 2025, because I'm going to talk about them in a minute. What are the three biggest issues? Escrow money. So the buyer, they'll pay it. Buyer has to just show escrow. They maybe do it. Hey, how's about split the cost? I don't want to pay it. Split the cost. Buyer and seller equally share the cost of a new roof. Okay. There you go. That's an idea. And I don't know on the lending side, does that start muddying the waters and getting weird? Terry, I just saw your face. You frowned on my option. Wait a minute. I'm in real estate. Everything's negotiable. We've got a buyer and a seller. They're both willing. They're going to call it a day. Terry, you know how it works. Split it. Call it a day. Everybody's happy, but except one person now.
No.
The lender. No, I'm just kidding.
No. You can put in
money
into an escrow.
Yeah, that's the way you like it.
But you can't have a handshake saying, okay, we're going to split this
Okay.
and we're going to get it done after settlement, and then we'll write a check for half. And because we want the money to be somewhere, we want to be able to. So let's talk
Tracking
about
it.
an escrow.
Yeah,
Anytime
talk
there's a
about that.
repair escrow on
Mhm.
any property, whether it's a broken window or painting or whatever. So let's talk about a roof. That's usually the biggest thing
That is.
to do for an escrow.
It is. Yeah, I would agree. Or septic.
Anything.
Either septic is first. Well, I don't know.
I won't do an escrow for a septic because there's so much
Oh yeah,
that can go wrong.
There's a lot.
So much that has gone wrong.
We'll stick with a roof then.
And I've been asked so many times by
Mhm.
realtors, well, so-and-so said they could do it. And I said, when it comes down to it, they're not going to be able to do
I know
it.
you're right.
So you can't do a septic, or I won't do a septic. I have the ability to do it. I have the ability.
Oof.
So
It's like
let's
going to
not go-
Vegas.
so-
Yeah, let's
so
not
we
go to
just had
do a roof.
I'm
Escrow.
going to do a roof, and then I'm going to come back
Okay.
to the septic. Anytime you do an escrow for anything, basically what you're taking a look at is 1.5 times
Mhm.
what the quote is that you get. So let's talk about a $10,000 roof quote. We're going to escrow $15,000. And then when that roof is completed, that money is given to the roofer, and anything left over is
Gets
given back
reimbursed
to the
back